Your Majesty, I simply cannot believe someone of your class would come to help us.
Well, my mate is to thank, I think. My pretty songbird. They've been good for my, rehabilitation, I think, in helping me see what is truly important.
We are blessed by both of you, then. My sincerest thanks. I hope this home suits you, for now. It was meant for a nobleman, but he never claimed it.
For a home and food, we are happy to help, sir. Now, I think the wounded still need patching. We'd like to settle in.
Of course. A good night to you, King Zade and Songbird.
Here, you've been stoking the fire while I've been conversing, so allow me. Do I think my brothers will attack soon? No. I imagine what they will do next is try to form a plan to deal with me. By now, they've realized all the other wards they had failed. I'm sure they're quietly furious with themselves for growing complacent, and I'm sure violently assaulting one another. No doubt Seraphis is calling Aramis a little bitch and trying to seize power. Aramis will, no doubt, beat him within an inch of his life, and they'll continue to plan, so we have about 3 months. Well, why do you fear, my sweet? You practically handled Seraphis on your own. You're right. A good many people died in his attack, and I am sorry for that. You feel guilty for not saving more, and you fear that we will lose more innocents no matter how we respond to their aggression. Come here. Sit on my lap for a moment. Ah, there we are. Oh, you're still shaking from the battle, poor thing. You did eat and drink like I asked, yes? Oh, come now, don't say yes, father, in that sarcastic tone. Such a tremendous problem, isn't it? Humans trying to fight dragons for the simplest of freedoms. Naturally, things are stacked infinitely in our favor. We are stronger, faster, and often have access to better education and magic. It's most unfair, isn't it? I'm sorry, I don't intend to rub it in your face, dear. I am simply walking us both through the problem at hand. For as strong as we are together, we don't have an army, and countless human lives will be taken because they cannot fight for themselves. A solution? Oh, I don't know why you'd ask me, love. I'm just a silly old dragon that was in jail for a very long time. Wait a moment. Oh, I'm sorry, dearest. I just remembered there's a cave nearby I'd like to revisit. And since I'm already carrying you, how about you join me? Splendid. Off we go then. Here we are. Strange to think this place is so ancient yet so, untapped. Oh, my apologies. Let me set you down and do my best to explain. Walk with me, but touch nothing, alright? Touch none of the crystals, no matter how pretty they are or what they tell you. No, I promise. It's not a spell of insanity. You see, these crystals are unlike anything you will find in the world. You're right, they are beautiful. I found this place long ago while playing hide and seek with my brothers. What are they? No, they're not quartz, you see. They are much more powerful than that. I will do my best to explain, but you know me. You see, here, all these crystalline branches represent a different gift from a place far, far away. But if touched carelessly, they can cause quite a lot of adverse effects. The orange especially. Never touch the orange. Here, let me demonstrate with a hair from my head. Watch as I drop the hair onto the orange crystal. As you can see, the orange crystal tries to help. It's the crystal of change, the crystal of, inspiration, but like every strain of stone here, it's a double-edged sword. It mutated what was in my hair and tried to grow into a human hand, which could have eventually become a full human. But a human with no soul, in crippling agony, and with the intelligence of an animal with rabies. But what more humble beginnings could one have? And no sadder ending than being snuffed out before you realize you're a monster. I found this place a long time ago. I didn't know what it was, so I took a small sample of the purple strain, this one here. Now, purple is a bit of an oddity. If I had to describe it, I would say that purple represents that emotion where you're always 2 steps ahead of everyone. While blue over here is raw intellect, but purple is the means to use said intellect. Most commonly used by royalty, I was told. But one does become paranoid in turn. You don't want to lose the game, not ever, not at any cost. I was a god among kings, outplaying others at every turn. I had empires knelt before me, but in the back of my mind, I knew my downfall was inevitable. I tried to garner some good karma for myself, or some kind of support by playing hero, hence the gold strain resonating in my scales. You see, gold is the strain of heroes. The downside? Idealism that slowly, inevitably turns to bitterness and sorrow. It drove me mad, and only after years of being trapped away did I regain myself. Did I realize the harm I had caused and how much more harm had been done when my brothers had been allowed to run amok. Even as I was being dragged away, I pleaded with them to do better than I had. And somehow, they've only done worse. It is easy to lose sight as a king that you must treat your people well. Even if you consider them insects by comparison, you still do your best not to incite the horde. To think the people of this village took us in, gave us a home and food, all because we protected them from one attack. They love these lands, and we dragons took it for granted. The human frame has always been weaker, less armored. You know, my brothers never defeated me, but she did, the little one. I never caught her name. She stormed the gates and challenged me when I aimed to fully commit to my massacre. I knew she must be a relation to my contact within the Shadow Pantheon, just from her ruthless stare. She came in with a burst of indescribable music, carrying a scythe twice her size, and I made a grave error by treating her like a child. I don't know how she did it. She planted her scythe in the ground and started making these noises, building into a rhythm, a song. And then she was surrounded by a swarm of ghosts cheering for her. And I knew I was fucked when she turned to me, glowing with power, and said, "So, you have some magic in your veins. I do too. Look." About 3 seconds later, I was struck with what felt like a collapsing sun. I think she appeared because she was the only one that could stop me. And heavens knew I needed to be stopped. I did ask Raven to say hello for me. He giggled and said he would. Why did I bring you here? Well, you see, the crystals are pretty, aren't they? Pretty just like you. Also, I lost an old journal here years ago that detailed my experiments with various strains. I suppose the nostalgia won me over. And besides, it's not as if you humans could adapt these powers to help you fight against us big, silly dragons. That would be simply outrageous.